But Dave, I want to ask, how all of this influenced Jane's Addiction because to me, that's a band that I loved when I was younger, but really hasn't been relevant in a long
Ooh, me
time.
too, me too.
And I think it's such a genius idea to put you in the mix there, and I'm so excited. So tell us what's been going on.
Well, yeah, the original, the genius part of it was Rich Costi's idea. It was not mine at all. And
Here, mic up, mic
oh
up.
yeah, the microphone. I keep forgetting. Yeah, I know. You'd think I'd know. But so Rich Costi was asked to produce that record, and he's like my Obi-Wan Kenobi. That guy really knows what he's doing. So he had said to me, he's like, "Hey, I'm working on this Jane's record, and he's like, why don't you come in here and throw some hand grenades and just ruin the whole session?" So at that time, I was under the impression that I was going to go there and mess around with somebody's drum tracks or some rhythm tracks and then go to Hugo's and then go home. So to me, in my mind, it was a very quick, easy operation. And then I got there and I started listening to it and I was just like, this isn't really my thing. And Rich is like, exactly. So now that you're here, you're screwed. So how do we make it your thing? And it was a really interesting question because, I hadn't really thought about, being I definitely didn't think about being in my own band, but being in another band was just totally hilarious to me. So at that point, Duff McKagan was playing bass, and I wasn't interested in doing anything that he was doing. Not to any disrespect or to discredit anything that he does. It's just not. I'm not the right guy for the job. So he's like, well, Duff's leaving, and then they're probably going to want to like write stuff from scratch. So I agreed to go jam with them, and then I remember I'm a I'm a ad hoc bass player at best. But I do know how to play Summertime Rolls and Mountain Song. So I was like, all right, well, I'll go into this room and I'll jam with these guys, right? And they wound up being the sweetest people, albeit crazy, but super sweet. So I started playing the Mountain Song, and then they started playing along, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm playing in Jane's Addiction. So I texted my brother, and I was like, yo, I just played Mountain Song with Jane's Addiction. He's like, with them? And I was like, yeah, in the room. I played the bass. And he's like, what are you doing? So then we just started like improvising and messing around, and we started coming up with like some like really, for me, even for them, some really strange stuff because I'm really into some bands. I think Can is one of my favorite bands of all time, and I was listening to that band This Heat on the way in there, so I was already in this mode where I was like, I'm gonna make really angular, weird shit. Let's see what happens. And they just like in lockstep joined me and started getting crazier and crazier. We never discussed any of the music. We just started playing, and from those and we wound up doing it more and more and more and more and more. And then from those recordings, once we got a break from it, we were all listening back and we're like, there's a whole album here. In fact, there's probably 3 albums here. So we just have been like weeding through that stuff. And then they asked me the inevitable, hey, do you want to go on tour? And I said, no way. And then they asked me again, and I was like, no way. And they asked me again, and I was like, nah, still no way. But it's been hilarious. It's again one of those things I didn't expect to
When
do.
when is the record out? Do you know?
I don't know. I won't even jinx it.